Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Nicole Shaw. I'm here to take you on a journey of being a first-time mom and all the fun things that come with it. I also am into nutrition and doing things holistically and mindfully, so welcome. So today's video, while my baby is asleep, I want to share the things that I've learned in the first 3 weeks. I can't even believe it's already been 3 weeks. And if you see me maneuvering, it's because I'm on a wedge pillow. My tailbone still hurts from labor. I think I'm gonna have to get a chiropractic adjustment or something because it's hard to sit. So anyways, I want to share the things that I have so far learned, I guess the hard way, within the 3 weeks of him being on the outside. So if that's something that you're interested in, stick around. Alright, so if you see me looking down, I have my list because I don't trust my brain to retain all of this. So I have my list on my computer. The first thing is, and I feel like a lot of moms have told me this in the past, but it's like you don't really know until you're actually experiencing it for yourself, is plan more time than you think you need in order to get somewhere. So there will be things that go wrong, there will be things that you realize that you forgot or that you needed or that you need to fix, or your baby has a blowout. And for an example, my first checkup that I had, my doctor's office is literally 5 minutes from my house. So in the past, when I was pregnant, I would literally just leave 5 minutes before and we're all good. And so luckily, this is when my mom was with me the first week we had him, and I was like, don't worry, it's just 5 minutes away, no need to rush, we got plenty of time, blah blah blah. So 5 minutes before, I'm so used to just hopping in my car and going where I need to go, but I went to put the baby in his car seat and realized he had already gotten bigger and he didn't fit like he did when we took him home. And this car seat, I guess I didn't really fully understand how to use it. It wasn't just a simple thing where you adjust it from the front. It had a strap, but I didn't know how to use that yet. So I thought you had to take this thing apart from the back and maneuver the straps. I was so stressed out and I was like, oh my gosh, I have no idea how to do this. So then my doctor's appointment is supposed to be happening, and I'm still at home trying to figure out this car seat situation. And a place that's 5 minutes away, I ended up being 20 minutes late for an appointment because I had no idea about the car seat. Anyways, and I had gotten up and started getting ready for this appointment 2 hours before because I was like, I'm gonna have time to feed him, I'm gonna have time to eat, I'm gonna have time to get ready and shower. 2 hours! And I was still 20 minutes late for this appointment. I'm sure that doctors are well used to that probably for first-time moms. They probably laugh at it. I'm sure that they have a lot of late first-time parents. So I know, leave plenty of extra time. Honestly, I'm probably gonna have to give myself 3 hours now. So that's one. The next one is say yes to help. I was a delusional girl when I thought I would just be able to figure it out and it would be fine. I didn't really take into account of the lack of sleep. I didn't take into account how much pain I'd be in from labor after. And so when my mom offered to come, she was like, I want to come right when the baby's born. And I was like, no. I was like, that's gonna be too much for me. That's gonna be too much for me. I was like, I am going to find my routine with the baby, and then when you come, I'll be able to tell you how you can help me better. What was I even talking about? My mom is a mom. She has more than one child. I'm gonna tell her how she can help me, even though this is my first rodeo. I was freaking delusional. So as time got closer to me giving birth, She's like, no, I really want to come when you give birth. And I was like, whatever, Mom, whatever you want to do. I was just kind of like giving into what she wanted, even though I didn't think that would be necessary. It was so necessary. I couldn't even imagine that first week without her, and I'm so glad she pushed to come because I could barely sit or stand. My body hurt so bad, everything. Labor is a marathon, and I was in labor for 3 days and not sleeping, the baby being sunny side up, the baby jamming into my tailbone, the back labor, the pushing, the tearing. My body was wrecked. I felt like I was hit by a semi-truck. Not only did the main parts hurt downstairs and my tailbone from the labor, but it's like my body was so tired and so sore from just everything. And it is a lot of stress on your mind, and so that physically takes a toll. Oh my God, my tailbone hurts so bad still. I gotta lean forward. So anyway, with that, it was a godsend that my mom came. And she helped me so much. She made food. She helped watch the baby so I could shower. After I would feed the baby, she would hang out with him so I could sleep a little more. It just gave me a time to breathe. Because on top of all of that, like when you're a first-time mom and you know absolutely nothing, I was looking up everything. I was looking up how to use my pump. I was looking up how to burp him. And so on top of just being a parent and diving in, it's a lot of mental exhaustion too, because you're constantly being like, is this normal? What is he doing? Am I doing this right? How do I breastfeed? Why does my nipples hurt? Why is my nipples bleeding all of a sudden? How do I do this right? And so all of that was just so overwhelming that's why I was like, I can't even imagine my mom not being there. And you know, my husband, he's a good dad. He does stuff too, but it's just different for another mom to be there for you because my husband's learning alongside of me as well. And it's not so innate for the man. And they're also a little more like the mom-child bond is a lot different because you just had them in your belly for 9 months. And the baby primarily needs you. They need your boob. I feel like it's just more intuitive for what to do, how to console them. So it's a different learning experience for the dads. And so anyways, that was long, but I just really want to emphasize if you have someone who wants to help you, let them help you. All right, next one on the list. If you have a boy, remember, pee-pee down. Pee-pee down when you're changing the diaper. There's a lot of diaper tricks and I definitely recommend looking them up before you just willy-nilly go trying to change a diaper. I don't know about a little girl because it might be easier. Well, there's like key things with making sure that you don't have any leaks for blowouts, but those are inevitable. But I learned that when you're changing the little diaper, you gotta put their little pee-pee down and then put the diaper on, because if you don't and it's pointing up, it will up the diaper. And I kept having leaks and I was like, what in the hell is going on? And then I learned the pee-pee down trick, and that made a world of difference to reduce the leaks. Also, while we're on diapers, always make sure there's little ruffles on the side around their legs. Always make sure after you put the diaper on that they're not tucked in, that they're flared out, because that helps prevent leaks on the side. Also make sure the back of the diaper is high on the back, because that helps prevent leaks from the back up. So pee down, ruffles out, high back top, and make sure that it's on really good and tight. Zip up onesies, they're supreme. I don't want anything else. I have other little onesies that don't get warm because I don't want to deal with putting that shit over my son's head because he gets pissed. He hates it. Babies don't like when things go over their face, I'm learning. So, zip up onesies, I will link that. I found these really great ones on Amazon that are so cheap. It comes in a pack of 3 and they're just simple. I'm a simple girly. I'm very minimalistic. I got a pack of shades of green, and then I got ones that are a pack of shades of blue. And for little girls, I think that they have, I don't know, shades of pink. But they're just so easy. It's a two-way zipper, so easy to get on. It has little foldables where you can put over their hands if their nails get long so they don't scratch their face. It's got feet on them, so he wears them at night. And it's amazing because, again, two-way zipper, so easy to get on baby. And then in the night or whenever you need to change him, you zip it up from the feet so you don't have to take it off of him. And you just put the little leggies out, change them, and then put it back on, zip it down, and whew, zippers. I don't mess with the buttons or overhead shit. Let's see. So when it comes to feeding, I'm breastfeeding, and this could go for bottle feeding too. I like to have my setups. I have my areas that I feed him. One is a corner in my couch. I'll show you the little setup. One is a chair in my room, and then I also feed him in bed because he's got a little bassinet, and so I feed him in my bed. So it is important that before you feed this baby, I always say I gotta set up shop, because wherever little area you're in, you want a nice little table beside you or little area you could put stuff. And you want to make sure you have all your stuff before you feed that baby, because once you get that baby latched or feeding or whatever and he's chill, you do not want to disrupt that. You can't get up. You're locked. That is your island. You can't go anywhere until that baby's done. So you want to make sure that you have your water. If you need a little snack and you're hungry, you get that snack. Make sure you have your phone. If you're watching TV, you best make sure you got that remote by you, because you're not getting up to do any of that. I make sure I have a little burp cloth. So you just want to make sure you have all the things that you need before you feed that baby. It's called setting up shop. You gotta set up shop. And no matter what part of the house you're in, set up shop. And I do have a breastfeeding pillow, but sometimes I just use a normal pillow. Honestly, I have not worked out the best situation for that. And I think it might be because my belly is still a tiny bit extended, that the breastfeeding pillow doesn't like sit flat all the way like it should. So it's not really great right now, but yeah. So set up shop, make sure you have all the things you need before you feed that baby. All right, so next one, it's a little controversial. And I will say we're doing a combo now because he's finally taking to it. But in the first couple weeks, I will say co-sleeping got us both way more sleep than the bassinet. My baby would not sleep in the bassinet. Anytime I'd put him down, and I tried all the tips of how to put him down, feet first, then head, hand on side, tilt him over, then subtly, no. That baby hit that bassinet and that baby said, hell to the nah. I'm not sleeping in here. I love you. I'm a part of you. I need your heartbeat by my head. And I was like, fuck, man, we gotta sleep. And everybody's telling me that this is the best. Guess what? Ain't nobody sleeping like that. So, with that said, it's a very divided subject. I will just say that there is a safe way to go about co-sleeping if you're co-sleeping in the bed. It's called the Safe 7. And there's a guy, Dr. James something. I'll look it up and I'll put it here. But it's called the Safe 7, and it goes over how to safely co-sleep with your newborn. I will say, I don't want to it's kind of a hard subject to dive into, but when co-sleeping goes awry, it's almost always because these rules are broken. You don't want to be co-sleeping if you are drinking or smoking. You don't want to have the baby in between you and your partner. There's a bunch of things that you have to do to set up the space to make it as safe as possible. And so that is what I prioritize. Like, can't have covers over the baby. You can't have it by a bunch of pillows where it can suffocate. You have to have this wide open, firm space where it's just you and the baby. And so the way that I do it is, and this is part of the Safe 7, is it's called creating a C shape. And I'll plug in a picture so you can see it. Basically, I'm laying on my side, my arm is out, my knees are up, and so you create this little safe space around the baby, and the baby is on his back next to you. So he can't turn. He can't like flip over either way. He's just straight on his back. And because of the way that you're lying on your side, it's impossible for you to roll onto the baby as well. So that's why you can't lay on your back next to the baby, because you could just in your sleep roll onto the baby. You would need to be on your side the whole time. And so if that's something you don't feel like you can do, then don't attempt this either. But like, I have no problem. And you shouldn't have a problem with it. If you just were pregnant for 9 months, having to sleep on your side, you're probably used to it. So that has helped us get a lot of sleep. And now he's 3 weeks old and he's actually sleeping a little bit more in his bassinet. So I will just say that too, is like, I want him to sleep in his bassinet next to my bed. Like, he's still close by me, so it's easier for me to just grab him and breastfeed him in the bed at night. That's still easier. And then I could sleep however I want to. That's ideal for me. But in the beginning, I did what I had to do for us to both sleep well, because that's also not good at the end of the day. It's not good for baby not to sleep and for the baby to be stressed out and screaming bloody murder. Not good for your mental state to not be sleeping. So if you could do it safely and make sure you're hitting the Safe 7 and avoiding all the things that you should be avoiding, there's a lot of advocacy for co-sleeping and actually the health of the baby, because it's supposed to help them regulate their nervous system. Anyways, that's what works for us right now. It did help us get sleep in the beginning, and it was really nice for breastfeeding too. Still is nice. Like, he's been in his bassinet, and then in the morning feeds, like when I want to get a little extra sleep, I'll just bring him into the bed with me and do side laying breastfeeding, which is such a lovely thing, because you could literally just be like letting that baby go to town and have its breakfast, and you could just kind of like in and out of sleep. And then the baby, well, my baby at least, he tends to just drift off again, and we get a couple more hours, and it's lovely. So that has worked for us. Gosh dang it, my freaking tailbone. I gotta sit forward. Hold on. Okay, push you back, because I gotta sit forward here. The hospital gave us a binky when they were doing checks on him and he was being a little fussy, and they're like, is it okay if we give him a binky? And you hear like how it could like interrupt breastfeeding, blah, blah, blah. But he already was latching. He latched right away after he was born. And so, I don't know. I was just like, go ahead. If it's gonna comfort him while you do that, let's do it. And so, I'll put a picture of it, but it was the most simplest binky. And I had got him all these fancy ones. I got him the passy that's supposed to mimic the nipple. And the more I look at it, my nipple is not that big and not that flat. So I don't know how this is supposed to mimic a nipple. But my baby has loved that hospital pacifier more than any fancy pacifier that I've tried and bought for him. So I recommend simple ones. And when I look at it, and that makes more sense of when they're breastfeeding and how my nipple looks after he's done. That looks more like a nipple than like these other weird flat. I mean, maybe some people have flat nipples, like flat nipples. I don't know. My nipple doesn't look like that. So he loves that. I've gotten him the Wubbanub, because the Wubbanub, it's got a little animal attached to it. I'll link that and show you a picture of what that looks like. But, and a lot of my friends have always loved the Wubbanub, but they're very similar design to the hospital one. So he loves that. If you're looking for pacifiers to try, Wubbanub is great for newborn, because a lot of the time it falls out of their mouth and then they get frustrated. So when it has the little stuffed animal attached to it, you can set it on their chest and it keeps it in place for them. Or they can grab onto the animal and it keeps it in place for them. So he absolutely loves that. And it's just a great way. It hasn't affected our breastfeeding or anything like that because he was already doing good and I'm constantly breastfeeding him. So he's used to both and it hasn't affected us at all. So that has really helped a lot with soothing him, especially after he eats. Sometimes he'll wake up a little bit and won't go back to sleep. So I'll just put the little pacifier in his mouth and then he'll drift off to sleep, because sucking is a way that babies soothe themselves. They don't have a regulated nervous system yet. It's still growing and they're learning. So one way that they calm themselves is by sucking on things. That's why you'll see they'll go to suck on their hand, or they'll get really tired when they're breastfeeding. So it's really useful if you need them to calm down. So with the binky, it's really comes in handy too when you're changing them. This is something I'm still trying to learn, of the secret sauce of having the baby ultimately feel calm while I'm changing, especially in the middle of the night, because I feel like, gosh, postpartum is so hard because I'm like sweating ass, and so I turn on the air, but then when I have to get the baby out to change him, he's cold and babies don't like being cold. He gets so mad and cries so loud. And so when I change him, like the changing pad is kind of like a faux leather. So I lay a little blanket out so it's not so cold on his back. And I actually have his little blanket and I put it around his head. And then I give him his pacifier because I'm trying to keep him as calm as possible while I change him. Granted, it doesn't always work because sometimes he's just so mad. He's not having it. But a lot of the time it does work. I just try to make sure that he's as warm as possible, and that helps keep him calm. All right, next, my suggestion to you is while you're pregnant, set up everything that you need to set up. Electronics, learn how to use your pump, because I thought I could just figure some stuff out after having the baby. But that was so dumb, because you're gonna be overwhelmed with learning how to be a parent and all the things. And to top it off with setting up a baby monitor or learning how to use your breast pump for the first time, it was sending me off the edge. I was so overstimulated. So I get it, when you're in the end of pregnancy, you don't want to do anything else. I just wanted to veg out. I didn't feel good. I was huge. I didn't want to set up any more stuff. I've already done a lot, but just commit to finishing it out, because you will thank yourself. Because once you have that baby, if you could just focus on being a mom and focus on that stuff, that's great. Everything extra feels like death. So I was like learning how to do my breast pump. I had to set up a baby camera, all these little things that I was like, oh, it's fine, I'll just do it later. I wish I did it sooner, because then I could just have it ready, do it. And with the breast pump, a little side note, also learn how to use that before the baby comes, and also make sure when you put the pump, because the pump it comes with, or the suction cup or whatever, they're very big circles. I think it was like 24, I don't know how it is, millimeters, centimeters? I think centimeters. It's pretty big, and so it's probably not gonna fit you. So I had to buy a little flange kit from Amazon, which I will also link. And you have to measure out your nipples, and it will come with different flanges that you can put in the pump so it fits you, because I've had to figure it all out, and then I realized that it didn't even fit me, so then I couldn't even use it, and it was so overwhelming. So do all of that before your baby comes. Last three. So it's important. I know it's really overwhelming for the mom because a lot is on you. The baby needs you. You're the primary thing that they want at first, but it is important for you to communicate as best as you can with your partner of how they can help you, because it's hard for them too. They want to be helpful, but they don't know how, and it can make them feel a little disconnected, and it can become frustrating for both of you. So if you can communicate the best to your ability to how they can help you, you can let them know that they can support you, and that way it will help you support the baby. They can help you with making sure you're fed or well hydrated. I know sometimes it's hard. I can figure it out, you can figure it out, but sometimes the guy, it's not as intuitive to them. So you might have to show them how they can change the diaper and be okay with them learning at their own pace. It's their first time being a parent too. You have to give each other grace during this whole time, because it can be just very high emotions, high stress, and it can just affect you guys. So give each other grace, especially give the guy grace. Let them learn. It was hard for me to not just try to show them how to do stuff and then jump in and try to fix it right away. Just like you have to figure it out, they have to figure it out too. And so just learn that communication, because the way that you start is the way you're going to go through it all. So you want to start strong. So something that's also helped with the baby is I used to be someone who would just keep TV on in the background while I would do stuff, but I have found that it's actually better to keep music on, and some people are maybe just naturally like that, but I noticed it helps with regulating the baby a little more. Obviously, I play calmer music. I'll play like my Christian music or kind of chill like indie, but it also calms our mind. It just makes me feel more relaxed and regulates my heartbeat. And when the baby's being a little fussy, I'll just play like music. I'll put him in his little swing, or I'll wear him. The other day I was wearing him and dancing to the music, and it just lightened my mood. And when the baby feels like you're light and de-stressed, then it helps the baby as well, because they adopt your nervous system basically. So if they feel like you're regulated, it actually makes them feel more regulated too. So I feel like music has been a big thing for us. It's been really helpful for both of our nervous systems and stress. And then lastly is utilizing YouTube. YouTube has been great, just like you're watching this video, hopefully to learn and to help yourself. I've used it for breastfeeding tips. A lot of videos that I've liked to look up is baby cues and baby facial expressions, and like what that means, like, because all in all, like, babies cry, but there's a reason, and you have to know how to help them and what they need. And so they have these different cues that can indicate that, different types of cries or different facial expressions. So there's so much good information on YouTube for that. Sleep tips, how to get rid of gas, different positions where you can help them burp or get their like tooth out. So highly recommend YouTube. And if I've had questions about anything, especially breastfeeding, I just ask my question on YouTube, and there's always a video for that. So I hope this video helps you. That's why I'm making them, because I have been helped so much on here, and that's what we're here for, is to all connect and help each other on this little fun journey of life and motherhood and all the changes. So that's gonna wrap up all the things I've learned so far. I'll probably make more of these videos as I learn more, because boy, there's a lot of learning, and I'm sure with every age there'll be even more learning and things to come. So anyways, if you have any tips for me, please feel free to leave them in the comments. Like I said, that's what we're here for, is to help each other. And anyways, hope this helps you guys. I'm gonna go check on my baby now, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.